Now, in less than 24 hours, staying on US politics, we're going to have a better idea of Donald Trump's plans for 2024. He's promised to make a big announcement early tomorrow afternoon, our time. Here he is teasing the crowd at a rally in Ohio last week.
I'm going to be making a very big announcement on Tuesday, November 15th at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah, obviously that is Wednesday our time, Tuesday US time. A little earlier, I caught up with Kristin Tate from The Hill, and we started by discussing the midterm results and the red wave that some hoped for, but which turned out to be more of a ripple.
Yeah, you know, some of these races still haven't even been called, but it was definitely underwhelming for Republicans. I think a few things kind of caused this outcome. First of all, the Democrats completely changed election laws during the last presidential election under the guise of COVID. So they basically took election day and made it election season, and those new rules stayed in place for this election, and that was a big boon to the Democrats. But I also think, Chris, that all of this talk in the media about a red wave coming actually motivated a lot of Democrat voters to go out there and vote. The media had been talking about this, you know, the Republicans will take control of both chambers. All of this chatter had really been overwhelming the media airwaves. And then you had the Democrats using that to mobilize their base, telling older voters, hey, if Republicans get in power, they're going to take away your Social Security benefits, and then telling the young voters, hey, if Republicans get in power, they're going to completely outlaw abortions, and using these false talking points and fear mongering. So I think it was a little of both of those things. And then also candidate quality. Republicans did not nominate the highest quality Republicans in some of these states. So it's kind of a perfect storm of bad factors for Republicans, but we still got some good wins some places, particularly, as you mentioned, in Florida, which was just a huge, huge win for Republicans on all fronts, particularly with that Ron DeSantis election. He won with bigger margins than expected there.
Well, this effect is something you predicted in the lead up to the midterms. You talked about Trump and the fact that he doesn't just energise Republicans, he energises the Democrats as well to come out and vote against him. So that factor obviously played a role. What's your assessment of Trump's future, especially when we're talking about him making a big announcement tomorrow? What have these results done for Donald Trump's prospects at having another crack at the White House?
You know, I don't suspect that the results of the actual elections will impact him one way or another. However, his own rhetoric since these elections, I think, really hurt him. Since the midterm elections, he's come out and started bashing openly some really strong Republicans, including Ron DeSantis, and that's turned off a lot of voters. I have a lot of Trump supporters in my family and in my social circle. These are people who were diehard Trump supporters, and they still really like Trump. They're just disappointed to see Trump going out there and putting down Ron DeSantis. I mean, of all the Republicans you could choose to bash, and there are plenty of them that deserve it, Ron DeSantis is the last guy that Trump should be putting down right now, after he was the one who really was strong during COVID, has been on the forefront of so many of these cultural battles, really fearlessly standing up for Americans and conservative values. So it's really disappointing to see Trump coming out and outwardly bashing one of the big heroes on the right now. And then also he did the same with Brian Kemp, who's the governor of Georgia. So who's also very popular, by the way, amongst conservative voters. So I'm not certain that our losses in the midterms will impact Trump, but just his picking fights with Republicans that are really doing well right now. It doesn't make much sense logically as to why he would do that.
Is there a sense that Ron DeSantis in particular, or perhaps an orthodox Republican like him, is the future of the party rather than going back to Donald Trump, who of course is so divisive, not only in the main political debate, but sometimes within his own party?
Yes. In fact, I wrote about this at my publication, The Hill, just a week or two ago. And since I wrote that piece in which I argued that DeSantis could in fact beat Trump in a primary, the polls have shifted significantly, public opinion polls in favor of DeSantis, simply because Trump is coming out there and bashing very popular Republicans like DeSantis. So yes, DeSantis could be the future of the party. In many ways, Chris, he offers all of the upsides of Trump without the downsides. He's got that fighting spirit. He's bold. He really is representative of the MAGA agenda in terms of closing borders, promoting liberty policies, but he doesn't have a lot of those downsides of Trump, like picking fights, especially on Twitter at 3 a.m., like Trump tended to do, or, I think DeSantis might have a little bit better follow through when it comes to policy. Trump had all these great ideas that he would talk about on Twitter and in his speeches, but then when it came to follow through, he did not always make things happen. DeSantis has like a really solid track record in Florida as governor. So he very well could be the future of the party, but I don't think it's wise to call that right now. It's so early. We have a long primary season ahead of us. And, the future of the party, Chris, it could be someone other than these two people that we're not even talking about yet. Who knows what'll happen? It's so unpredictable.
Absolutely. 2023 is going to be fascinating. Thanks so much for joining us, Kristin.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Always a pleasure.